Let's talk about pacing. How do you pace yourself? Now, it doesn't matter what kind of school you are working for or what kind of company, they're going to give you a lesson plan or not. Whether they give you a lesson plan or not, it's up to you to determine the pacing. Let's say that you do get a lesson plan and they have all the timings worked out for you, then that's great, but it's still up to you to make sure that the pacing is correct. For example, they might tell you that on page 4 you should be on 3 minutes into the lesson or whatever. So it's up to you to pace yourself accordingly. But that's quite difficult to do because it's difficult to teach and check your timing at the same time. So what I would do is, before you even start teaching that lesson, is go through the lesson plan and make sure that you know where you have to be at what time and on what page. And in my course, teaching children online, you'll see there's a whole section on how to work out your timing for yourself so that your pacing is correct. Because sometimes you go through a whole class and you end the class, but you have 10 minutes left. What do you do with those 10 minutes? Or the other way around, you get to the end of the time, your time is up, and you have 10 pages left. What do you do then? Another suggestion is, I would say, don't go over 3 minutes. If you go over 3 minutes, your class is over 3 minutes, then that's too long. And the reason I'm saying this is because sometimes you don't know what the student's next arrangement is for their next class or whatever they have to do afterwards. So you cannot take too much of their time. So remember that, and the pacing is important. Another thing is, let's say that you finish a class too early. For example, this happened to me. I did an evaluation class for a substitute class. So I hadn't met a student, and he had to do a sort of test for this particular class. Normally, when I do evaluation classes, you have more than one student in the class. So that means you can ask each one the question, and that takes time, the whole 40 minutes that we have. In this boy's case, it was only him, and he was smart, and he knew all the answers. So we flew through the test, and by the time we got to the end of the test, we had about 10 minutes left. What do you do then? That is when you start talking, or rather you let them start talking. And then you ask questions. You just use that 10 minutes. You cannot leave the class because you are employed to work for the whole 40 minutes. Whether you have material or not, you have to do something. So what do? So then you start asking him questions. You ask the student, obviously you know what their level is. So you ask them according to their level. If they're very small, you'll ask them about colors and numbers. What color do you like? And what kind of food do you like? And if they don't have enough vocabulary for food, then you'll say, do you like hamburgers? And if you can start drawing things. And you can let the student draw as well. So that there's 10 minutes is not long. I mean, you can really keep someone busy with 10 minutes. If the kids or the students are older, then you can ask them more complicated questions. On the other hand, if let's say you're at the end of the lesson, the time is up, and you still have 10 pages left. What do you do then? If you can see the pages before you, or you can have a quick scan, I would go for the most important ones. If there are games on those pages, I would play the games and let the kids have fun and not feel as if you're being rushed, as if they're being rushed, and finish the class that way. So again, pacing is important and something you have to take care of and think about and work out before you even get into the class. But again, as I said, it's in my course. If you are interested, I cover all these details about teaching online, especially when teaching children. I hope that helps.